So let's start quickly without making any more delays. So, Assalamu alaikum and very good morning, everyone. So, I hope you know me, but maybe for some of them, maybe the first interaction. So, I am not here to teach you anything, just trying to share my personal experience and some personal thoughts. So, first of all, the title is Mastering High Impact Journal Publication from Submission to Acceptance. So, the title looks very interesting, and it seems like you're going to learn how to get published, right? So, but it is not. It's just giving you some motivation and some idea. Because let me tell you what. There is nothing until you do some effort, right? It never comes in existence until you start working. So I am here to just give you some clues, some idea. But if you haven't started yet, so there is no submission, right? If you don't have the manuscript, then nothing is going to happen. So let's start with the first of all, why we publish. So first of all, we have to be careful that in the academics, if you want to proceed, if you want to get promotion, if you want to get a good, the position in the future, so you must publish because the criteria for the, your further proceeding, further improvement, if you want to be associate professor, you must publish. Otherwise, you will never. You will be at the same position for whole of your life. You might be a lecturer for whole of your life if you are not proceeding, if you are not improving yourself, right? So this is important for your personal growth and it is important for your research growth as well. If you want to do research, then publishing is the most important part. When you publish, then you get some, comments, you got some reviews, you have, it's like suppose in my language we says that toddlers they will do nothing. The person who rides, he falls. The horse, the one who rides the horse, he falls. The toddler is already on the floor. He is not going to fall. So when you publish, you submit, then you get rejection, you get the comments, you get all the issues. But if you are not in this race, then you are not going to do any research. So you might be teaching the same subject for 20 years, but no new knowledge, no experiments, nothing, right? So this increase your visibility, networking opportunities. When you publish, you get known by others, by other institutes, by other universities all over the world. If you are publishing something which is unique, you will be recognized worldwide, right? Some of your work might be recognized by some university in US, some university in Europe or Canada or America, right? So that is your visibility also. Then don't think that there is nothing contributing. There is a contribution. So suppose I talk very small things. Suppose when I started my PhD, I was struggling how to because I did my PhD in cloud. So I was struggling how to get some working code, something which is I can see that how it happens, but it was very hard to find, right? So if I can publish something very basic to tell the steps how to set up a cloud, how to do monitoring, that is helpful for many people. So that makes contribution to the knowledge. Don't think that we are going to be Einstein, right? It's not like you're going to be Einstein when you publish. You just publish your basic, whatever you got, you share with the others. That is the benefit of the publication. Now comes to the what is the high impact? What defines the high impact journal? So it is honest session. So I want you to be honest. How many of you know already about this impact factor? Just raise your hand if you know how to calculate. You don't remember. Maybe you just know what it is, but you don't remember how to calculate. Okay. What about this citation index? Yes. Impact factor, then site score, and H index. How many of you know H index? How to calculate? No idea. Okay, so seems interesting, right? When I teach the first year students, I am very, excited because they are new and they want to know new things. So you are for me new, right? No one knows. New in this field. Very experienced, but new regarding these topics, which I am going to tell, right? Maybe foundation. So we are going to discuss some impact factor. What is impact factor in next slide? What is the H index in the next slide? Just to give you idea. But before we go, what is an impact? What is an impact? Just an English word, right? Impact. What makes things for you impactful? Suppose talk about very common thing nowadays, the clothes. Hari Raya. What makes you impact? Suppose you want to go some shopping. Yes, simple question, right? Hari Raya shopping.
Money.
Money, right? So one important thing is money. That makes impact. How much expensive and how cheap. So sometimes we just make a mind that this is cheap, that will be rough, not good. But it's not always true. Sometimes we buy very expensive and it's not good, bad. So impact is what makes you impact. So there are some criteria they made for make the research impactful. So what is the impact? How many people cite your research and how many people like cite means they put importance to it. That's all it. And there are some calculations which is. So indexed in Scopus Web of Science. So these index websites, they make a record of your publication and citation, and they publish some statistics, right? So that's how your journal become impactful. So what makes impact? We will discuss just impact in quick. So then this is also important. Don't we will do a quick, the exercise. Don't publish or submit in the predatory journals. Those have just fake websites that they want to publish within the day or 2 days or 1 week. And they are basically just grabbing the money. They don't have any reputation. They are just, the predatory website. So peer review process should be stringent, very clear. Some of the open access journal, they even put the reviewer's name, who reviewed this journal. And that also make impact. So suppose if you go to my profile on Scopus or Web of Science, you will find my reviews, what journals I have been reviewing. Okay, so we will see some example quickly. First, we go to the concept of impact factor. So it's very simple, not very complex. So suppose a journal name X published articles in 2022, 23, 24. And if we want to calculate the impact factor, so step by step. First of all, articles published in 2022, 50. In 23, 50. So we make total 100. Now we calculate the citations for 2 years. So suppose these are 500. So number of articles divided by citation. Very simple. Impact factor. Is it easy? I hope everyone get it right. So let's have a look on this. So this is citation, and that is, what is this? Number of articles. Oh, sorry. So number of article and citation. So just you divide it and you get some. Yes, impact factor. Okay. So I was just doubtful that is it correct or not. So some confusing, but don't think of just see this formula. It's very simple, right? Yes. So maybe I mixed up with this number. So the graph I created is not for the 100.
So is it calculated over the last 2 years, or is it a fixed formula like last 2 years?
Right.
Yes.
This calculation is for the 2 years, but usually they have last year and 5 year. This is just to explain. It's not exact. So if you go to the journal, they publish last year and 5 year. So the formula is same. So if you just put 1 year and divide, or you just calculate the citation for last 5 year and the number of paper published in last 5 years.
And do we have a reference like what do you mean by high impact?
Yeah, high impact. That's I'm going to discuss. So suppose for high impact, So suppose some of the journals, they are publishing very few, but the citation is huge. So the impact factor will rise very high. So for example, some of the medical journal, very prestigious medical journal, their publication rate is low. They are not publishing too many papers, but the research is so prestigious, so everyone is citing them. So their impact factor might be in tens and twenties, right? Maybe 30, 50. But some of the computer science journals, they are publishing a lot. So when they publish too much, then obviously the impact factor will be low. Even the citation number of citation will be higher than the medical journal, but the number of journals also very high. So there is no fixed criteria to put that this number impact factor is a grade. No. So you have to do some more little bit. But in the case of ours, we might go for Scopus Q1 right now. Don't go for impact factor too much, because when it comes for Web of Science and factor, maybe in few years later, then we will discuss this. Okay, for us, the criteria right now is Q1 Scopus, right? So for the Q1 Scopus, I just quickly tell you, showing the Scopus website how to find which one is Q1. It's very simple. They have 4 quartiles. So top above 75 is Q1. If it is between the 50 to 75, it's Q2. Below 50, Q3. Between until 25 and below 25 is all Q4. So I will show Scopus quickly website. So now come to the H index. So what is H index? So suppose Dr. John Doe has published 6 research papers. So we want to calculate the H index. So his first paper got 20 citations, second 15, 10, 7, 4, 6. So the criteria is the least number of citation what paper got, then you count. So suppose if it is cited by 5, then it will be 5. So H index will be 5. Sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 papers have at least 4 citations, right? So
This 5 paper and 4 statistics is what? In a high impact journals or
I think sorry, I mixed up again. So the criteria is the number of papers should be equal to the number of citation, then it will become. So suppose we have 4 papers with 4 citation, then it's called H index 4. If you have at least 5 paper with 5 citation, then it will become 5. So that's what I tried to explain here. So if you want to become 5 impact H index 5, so only this paper need 1 more citation, then this will become H index 5. So minimum number of citation you get, whatever paper got the minimum citation, and then start to getting the number of this. So if they are more, then you go up and up. Let me show you some. Yes, let me show. Mostly the H index used for the the persons, individuals.
Just another measure.
Yes, so suppose we go to Scopus.
First impact factor relating to the journal, right? H index is,
Usually for the researcher.
yeah, so it's 2 different things. But if you are publishing a high impact journal, they more people to cite your papers. That's why your H index also will be enhanced, right? So that's how it goes.
So let me show you first the how to find the the Q1, Q2, Q3 in Scopus. So first of all, it's scopus.com. You just open scopus.com. On top, you will find this sources. So you click on the sources, and then you will see this web, this web. Here you have multiple options. The easiest one is the authentic one is you just select ISSN and then search the ISSN number of that journal, because sometimes the printed journals, they do something like we have in the cyber security, they just play with the name little bit. So suppose the journal name is, the computer systems S. So they put something computer system, just removing S or something small word. So that looks like similar. So if you select ISSN, then it's more authentic. Just I am showing here with the title. So I selected IEEE Access. So when I search find, so this is the journal. So now you see it's very simple. You just see the highest percentile. So if highest percentile is above 75, then it's Q1, definitely Q1. But they also provide, the criteria to filter here. So suppose if you want to check Q1, it is definitely Q1 or not. So you just select it and then apply. So if it is Q1, it will remain here. If it is not, it will disappear. So you see it's still here. So it is Q1 definitely. So suppose I put Q2 and I remove Q1 and then apply. So it will disappear. It will not be here. Right? So that's how you can check. The easiest is ISSN number, right? So suppose let me try some let's try this CMC. Okay, let's try CMC. So CMC is a tech science journal. And now I am going to search using the ISSN. So I search this ISSN online. I copy this and use here in just first you need to cross this because that will make problem otherwise. So go to the ISSN and just paste this here and search. So now you see it's not appearing because I mistakenly did not unselect this. So because this is also a Q1 journal. So when I apply Q1, so you see that this journal will appear here. Above 75, so Q1. Okay, so that's how you just simply go and find. So next, the predatory journals you can easily find. So suppose this is one of the journal. And let me find on Scopus using the ISSN number. So it is not indexed by, but let me first remove this. Maybe even fourth. So you see not found. So ISSN number is here, not found. So it means don't touch any journal which is not Scopus index, right? Just close the website. Don't go for attractive. You see, they have many attractive things. There's this, and they will show you that on the bottom they have this. Just fake. Everything is fake. If it is not Scopus and Web of Science, just ignore it. Don't ever look at it. Okay, so what was the? There was one more question or something. Any question? All clear, right? Okay, H index is for the person. Oh, sorry, I was about to show the H index as well. So for example, if you go to the Scopus again, so now you not need to go to the search sources. Now you need to go to author search. So I volunteer myself, last name. Yeah. Okay, so and affiliation. Just put AP. Let's see. No author found. Let me put the full name. Or maybe it's coming with my previous still.
Yeah.
So I just put the name. Okay, so it's still showing my previous affiliation. I don't know why, but they should update it. I will email them. So, but this is my profile, right? So how you see that this is the H index. So this is H index for the researcher. So how you calculate it again? If you see the list of my papers, oh, it's showing limited access. So I don't have access. But if I would have, then I would have shown you that this is the way they calculate. Let me show you the scholar. No, it's okay. It's okay. You can just search by your own profile. You can see how much is this. But let me show you using the scholar. But one thing I want to clarify that Google Scholar H index is not counted in the the academics. So don't think that this H index will be counted. So suppose this is showing my H index is 9, but because it's not a Scopus index paper, so my H index still will be considered 8, because universities they consider only the Scopus one, not the scholar. So I wanted to show how to count. So this is just for example. So suppose you see that from this citation, the minimum is 12. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 papers have above the 9. So now if I want to make it 10 according to this, so I should have at least this paper 3 more citation, or this paper 3 more, or this one 4 more, so that they become the 10. So once this becomes 10, my H index will be going to the 10. So why the H index is important for the researchers? So suppose you are publishing bundles of paper every week or every year. There are some people, they publish papers every week. Every week they are publishing, but no one is citing your work. So it means that this is rubbish, nothing important, right?
Or one discovered goes.
That is simple criteria, right? So if no one is bothering to put you citation for even for the negativity, even no one is discussing you in the worst thing. So it means that you have no importance. So that is the H index.
How if we ask our students to cite it?
A student will never cite because we don't publish. How a student will publish? So if you do a survey, none of the student will be thinking of publishing. Even the master student.
If I give students an assignment and ask them.
Whatever, it will not count it because assignment is not Scopus index, right? It has to be a Scopus index paper
But
or conference.
But self-citation is not an ethical act as well.
Yes.
Like you
Self.
ask your friends to cite your paper.
Ah,
I think self-citation is not considered an ethical
Yes.
act.
okay.
Just
And there are people, those have generated the factories. This, you scratch my back, I will scratch your back. What they are doing, they are citing thousands of paper in a year, and they caught it. One of our colleagues, I was doing my PhD in UM, so he was our, the lecturer in the UM, and he got caught with there are some international authorities, the agencies, they are working for this especially. So they published whole report, and he has 2,000 plus citation within 1 or 2 years, and they caught him all the network, and they publish everything. So UM expelled him. Before they expelled, he resigned and left, because we have all the procedures in government universities. So meanwhile they catch him, he already resigned and went to somewhere. Can we sort? What is it?
Can you self-cite?
Yeah, obviously we can self-cite, but that is a different story. 2,000 paper citation in a year. By, like, suppose I cite Mr. Tang and Dr. Tang, and he cite me, and we are having hundreds of citation every year. So that is something, not ethical. Self-citation does not matter. Even I cite my paper sometimes, but this is relevant. So suppose I show that in this work, we did this, but now this work is different from that work. So that is totally ethical. So, but it is not like you just citing or asking people to cite, or some people, they do review and they ask the authors to cite. So this is unethical. Normal citation is okay. So everyone got the idea of H index and what is the importance of H index, right? So some person, he has been in the research, but his, the impact is not on the researcher. So that means that his work is not good somehow. Okay, so let's move to identify the journals. How we identify the journals. So is it visible? Oh, let me share the Teams link if someone want to join. Yes, that's what I'm trying to share. This slide is shared. I'm sharing on Teams the team link, so you can join if you want to see, because this is not much visible, right? So I'm searching the our SOT. Yeah, slide also I can share. Let me share this Teams link. So I have just shared a meeting on Team SOT. So if anyone from out of SOT, they can request or whatever. So let's move to the points we want to see. So first of all, check the journal scope and audience. This is very important. So suppose nowadays we are doing some research which somehow is multidisciplinary. So for example, uh, he's working in machine learning and working with medical imaging, right? Suppose the X-ray image. So now he has to find out that what journals are publishing this material. And there might be some medical journals, those are publishing the work done by the computer scientist, right? So this is very important to read the scope of the journal. Sometimes we got rejection simply because we did not bother to see that what is the scope of the journal. So my student had some cases, we had very good paper, we submitted in journal, they replied that, sorry, we don't publish the survey. And even we did not bother to read that they published survey or not. So this is very important to see the scope. So go and read the scope. Maybe some journal is specifically on some specific things. For example, they are working only on earth sciences related to some earth related things. And you are submitting the paper on medical imaging. So definitely you will get rejected. Then there are some papers, those journals, those are publishing only 3-page paper, and you are submitting a 21-page journal paper. So they will just straight reject. So read the scope and match. Then this is very important. And also the audience. So I give you this example. Don't have much time. I would have shown you the video, but you can search if you want. David Patterson. David Patterson is a well-known computer scientist, and he has many inventions. He invented many things. He has many good books people use for the the as a textbook. So for example, he has written a very good book in computer architecture. So David Patterson, his speech is on the YouTube, you can find. Just search David Patterson and the research speech. So in his speech, he refers to the Hamming, the great scientist who was part of the Bell Laboratories. Hamming has many inventions, and we have some the copyright and on his name, Hamming algorithm or Hamming something. So he was a good scientist. So he was referring to the Hamming, and I think his video is also on YouTube. So he says, I was in the Bell Laboratories, and the physics people were publishing very good research. But the people from the chemistry, they were doing not good. So one day he says that I should go and see what is the problem. So he started having lunch with them. So the problem was they were so isolated, they did not bother to see the scope, and they did not bother to see the what we call the different domains, so inter-domain things. And that's why their paper got rejected, keep rejected. So then he spent some time with them and asked them to, okay, sit with our physics guys and maybe try to find something. And then they started publishing. So that is also a problem. We are so isolated. We even don't talk with our person sitting next to us. So then the things are not. So the important thing is collaboration. Human being is a social animal, you might say. We want to do happy with the people, right? So the research will grow or flourish if you do collaboration, even with your friends, your colleagues in office. Don't think that they will get benefit. You will also get the benefit. So what happens, sometimes we don't even see what area we are working with. Suppose we got one internal grant with Dr. Wazir, he is the PI, and Dr. Hassan, both are from School of Computing. So our area is, we are working on one of the virus, which is for the coconut trees and also for the palm trees, you might say. So the area is not my area, not even their area. It's related to some agriculture, right? So, but if we don't do some cross, the collaboration, that we will fail our research. So what we did, we tried to find someone from the UMS, my previous university. He is in the agriculture and his area is that. And then we found some good collaboration and we have submitted another research proposal in FRGS with their collaboration. So collaborate, try to find, multidisciplinary. Suppose we have the engineering faculty, right? They are doing a lot of relevant things. Suppose they are doing the computer engineering, they are doing mechatronics, they are doing the IoT related things, all related to us directly. So we just make collaboration, try to come up with very good some research. So then avoid predatory, I have already explained, I'm not going to do. Open as, okay, we will discuss quickly the open access versus the traditional. So traditionally, the journals, they did not ask author to pay traditionally. But what happened? The model changed. The institutions and the agencies they involved, they say, okay, we will pay. You just publish, take your expenses from us and put our journal of, free for everyone. So what was the previous model? We publish, the publisher got the rights and he sells your paper. So he sells subscription to institution. So suppose we got some subscription for Elsevier, we can download Elsevier paper. But if you go directly individually, you have to pay, right? So suppose IEEE, they are getting the conferences, but not free. But if you buy the subscription, pay some money, then you get the so, but the other model is, you pay, you means the author or the institution of the author, they pay, and the other person, they get it free. So that is called open access. And we are lucky, we have unlimited right now, unlimited support from the APU to publish in open access. That is a big support. Not many universities, they even pay the small amount, 1 or 2 paper. So that is the golden time to grow yourself. You publish, your profile will go up, right?
Just to add on to open access, I have recently approved at my level for Dr. Adisa's Q1 paper that can be up to like 10,000 the article for processing fee. So I think I shared the last school meeting, right? There's no limit, but it has to down to the VC and the CEO to approve. But at my level, definitely, if you are Q1, I think we will normally say yes. Q4, no.
Only
Q1, Q2, and Q3.
is 50% only.
50%. I think you check on my school meeting minutes, yeah, it's stated there.
And be careful about open access. Some are the predatory. So make sure you check the proper, because they sometimes they put fake statistics or some, the not clear statistics. Okay, then we do a quick activity before we go to the activity. So you must know about these, some of the most common, the indexing. So Scopus, you can search. Web of Science, you can search the papers. But some of the, suppose Web of Science, it's not free. It's sort of, you have to get subscription to check the index. But mostly you Google, you get it, or try to search on some AI tool, you might get almost the correct information, that is, it's a Web of Science indexed or not, what is impact factor. So you can, mostly the Web of Science, they provide with the impact factor. Okay, we quickly do this activity. I request you all to open, maybe you can open the browser and put this number, or you can QR scan, both will do. You can open the browser slido.com, and question is the name of the journal. The journal name is written there, you have to type Journal of Advanced Engineering and Computing. So what you have to do, take your time, don't rush. What you have to do a little bit survey on this. And when you say that it is a predatory journal, or, the authentic journal. So you should provide a little bit one or two criteria, which we discussed earlier, right? We discussed that it is Scopus index or web index or some impact factor something, right? So please open this website, search for this journal, Journal of Advanced Engineering and Computing. Make sure you know the exact name. If you put anything, because Google will suggest, so don't go for suggestion, they take the exact name and then come up with your answer. Let's see what you get.
What's the question?
Question is this journal is predatory journal or some, the authentic journal.
How do you
Or-
find advanced engineering and computation?
You need to search, write down the complete name and search. You will find this, I hope. Because I copied from the,
Is that-
yes. So don't go for the Google suggestion, put the exact name. And I could have give you the link, but I want you to type and search so that you know that what are the issues. So very tricky, the names are similar. Some of the similar name comes on top search, maybe second search. So just go to the website. So someone says normal, what we assume by normal. So you should, don't just write one word, put some, the reasons. Okay, so
You all managed to find?
Yes, confirm.
I only find computation.
It's there.
Is there?
It's there. No,
you need to write complete name, Advanced Engineering and Computing, Journal of Advanced Engineering and Computing.
Is that JAEC, right?
it's the computation.
I don't know, it's your job to do.
No, Tata. Is the JAEC one?
Yeah, it's
Computation, yeah,
Not computing.
yeah. There's no computing.
Spelling mistake.
Yes.
So miss, let me, maybe my mistake.
It should be computational.
Yes, computation.
Your spelling mistake. You should type it as computational.
Yes, my mistake, I accept.
Computation, sorry.
Yeah, I accept it. It's my mistake, sorry, typo. So the right is, yeah, Dr. Tang is right, it's my mistake. So it is computation.
So, it's a predator.
Yeah, predator journal. Sorry about this typing mistake. Let's see the next one. Okay, so you need to, I think, change, right?
So another journal to check.
Yes, but slide is changed, so maybe you need to,
Scan it in.
I'm not sure, scan or,
I was typing.
is it same or?
It's changed.
Oh, same.
I was typing this now. I didn't enter yet for the first question.
Actually, I made mistake here. Let me
The journal,
let me make it correct.
so you search for. Search, you use Google to read it and you fail it because the info goes.
It's computation.
But as a valid. Slide will be.
Only two.
It's only two?
No, for now I have only two. Okay, so let's see this one. This one, again, it's not changing. Maybe because Slido is not updating. I tried to change, but it's not updating. Just this one is computation, the word. So let's move to the second one. Try to search this one, please. Journal of Machine Learning Research. I tell you what, the Chat GPT, it's getting improved, but it used to create fake names. So sometimes it just create the fake journal citation and everything fake. because it's a generative AI, right? So he thinks that, or ChatGPT thinks I can just generate everything. So used to generate fake, journal names and citation, everything. So don't rely totally. Use your own sources as well. So what about this one?
99%.
99% seems right.
It's a Q1 now.
It's a Q1, good paper.
Yes.
Okay, so that's just show you some way to search. Make sure you know about the journal first before we going to submit. Okay, one more thing. You can search some papers, they publish their publication rate. So suppose submission is blah blah and publication rate is only 15%. So sometimes you better avoid the so high, because you just get rejection, so might switch to some other. Some of the journals, they are very hard to publish. Okay, now we quickly try to how much we can go now. Okay, what I do, I just do a quick review on the slide and I will share the slides because time is getting over and we will take a few questions if has. So these are important things. You must have a brief but informative, the abstract, introduction and background and research gap. Then methodology is clear and reproducible. It's reproducible means that whatever you have published, if someone want to do the same steps, he or she can come up with the same results. So that is very important in the research. Then the research, mostly people have no idea that why and what is the research. So mostly the research is this one, right? Once you have done something, so if you cannot come with some statistics, some data, some analysis, then what and why you did this, right? So at the start, what I do at the start of research with my PhD students or master students, I ask them to show me the metrics you are going to evaluate on. What are the metrics you will use at the end? So suppose you are working on IoT or blah, blah, or some infrastructure or what, but what is the metrics you will be using at the end? So you should have idea about this. But otherwise, they will stuck at the end. They say, "Oh, we are fed up, and we cannot do." One of my PhD students, we had meeting 2 weeks ago, and she was so much stressed, and she said, "I'm stuck. I don't know how to get this metric." Even I explained him in the previous meetings, but she forgot actually, or maybe she did not make proper notes. So then I explained her, and she pulled down. But this is a big issue, that discussion and interpretation, data interpretation. Okay, so what is the key takeaway right now? I think I skipped this strong and because we are short of time. So these tools I wanted to show you. I don't know how can we go after 12? How much time?
It depends on each person. I think we can arrange the next one.
Maybe next time. Okay, just one tool I request you to go and do. It's very easy. It's called Zotero. It's open source and it's free. So I just show you that, and then I'm not going much.
I will share the slide.
Yeah, I will share the slide. It's called Zotero. Yeah, for citation. EndNote. Actually, EndNote is not free. Zotero is free. So suppose I have Zotero. So Zotero, you need to install, and it install this extension on the Word. And there is a software. This software is for the the citation, and it also has extension in the browser. So installation is very simple. You can just go on YouTube, search how to install Zotero. You will get 3 things installation, very simple. So suppose I just search some paper, my own paper. I'm promoting myself. So let's see suppose this is one of the papers. So suppose I want to cite this paper. So need to go to again, because here I cannot find it. So suppose you just click here for cite and you click on the refman. So before that, you need to open this Zotero extension. So you see that this is already here. The paper I searched in the extension here, Zotero. So I select this Zotero and I select OK. So it will show that saving to my library. So this library is in this Zotero HJ. So this paper is saved here. So now I want to cite this paper in Word. So I just go here and I create citation using Zotero extension. And it will ask me what citation you want. So suppose I want IEEE. So I click IEEE. And now I can cite. Oh, it was yeah, its name, but any journal, maybe this one I just cite. So I put and it's put number 1, right? Then I go at the bottom of my, the document, I add the bibliography, add or edit. So I just create the bibliography and you see the paper is here. And whatever paper I cite, so it will update itself. Zotero will do this job for me. It's the same. Sorry. So now it's 2 and I want to put another journal above this, but that one is become 2 by itself. So I just put, sorry. I'm trying to do quick and it's taking more time. So suppose so you see that this has become 2 and this became 3 and all citation are on the bottom. So this is very powerful tool, easy to use and free. It's not a charge one. Okay, so let me just quickly show you the slides now. I'm not going to discuss much. So for writing, you just use Grammarly and this Hemingway. These are for improving your making correction. Then Mendeley, Zotero, EndNote for the citation. The formatting, so for the LaTeX, if you guys agree, I can take a complete session. LaTeX is very important. Some of the journals, they only want the LaTeX submission. So LaTeX is a very powerful tool. You can generate just PDF, very beautiful and good templates. What is the submission process? So first of all, writing a strong cover letter. Make sure you properly address the editor-in-chief, right, with the name. And make sure you select the appropriate keywords for the specific your work. And make sure that if you are submitting in some special issue, so just put the special issue name. Everything in the cover letter should be authentic and carefully read this. Precisely define about your work. Maybe you can put abstract, or maybe just a summary that this we have done and this align with your paper. So that is a cover letter you should write for editor-in-chief. Don't just put generalized dear editor. No, try to find his name, put full name, and make sure the good practice is use your letterhead. Like suppose I just gave you example. I just submitted some of my paper with my student. So what I do, I just create my own letterhead wherever I am. So right now working with APU, so I just use the APU letterhead. There is MS. Oh. So something like this, but you might have seen that here I mistakenly did not put the name. I should have. This is not good practice. And then you see your all signatures and make a proper cover, something like this. Here you see we quickly introduce our paper, and this is a revision. So we have revised all these things. Okay, so let's move back to this quickly and finish it. So then keywords, check plagiarism, a sample letter I have already showed. Misaligned scope. If you submit in the journal which is not aligned with your scope, then they will definitely reject. Poor formatting. We have rejection due to poor formatting. Don't be lazy about the formatting. They are very sensitive. Every journal has put your template. Please follow exactly. Read the instruction. Every single bit is written in the instruction. Every single bit. how to cite, how to label, how to refer, how to use everything, but we don't bother to read and then they just reject if you don't follow their format. Weak literature review also a problem for rejection. Peer review, we can maybe discuss sometime else. When you get the response, it is very important to address them and must address each and everything. If you cannot answer, you should write rebuttal, but I would not suggest write rebuttal every time. Mostly you should answer. Answer means try to modify something and say, okay, we try to do this. What you suggest, we have done this. Maybe it's 30-40%, but just do it. Sometimes it works, right? Sometimes the reviewer are human beings, say, okay, he did not do complete, but okay, just let it go. So, but don't ever try to be, what we call the extra genius. These people have years experience, right? 30-40 years, maybe some people are just doing review, 10-15 years. So this job is volunteer job. I do a review by my own, right? I don't get any payment from APU or the journal. So if you are annoying me, I will just reject. You can't make anything for me, right? Because I am anonymous person. You don't know me. You annoying me with your words, I will just reject. So be careful about the reviewers comment, try to address. Okay, so I try to be on time, but because of this 15 minutes delay. So any questions, please ask, or maybe something from the next session. Anyone is most welcome to come to me personally, ask anything you have related to the submission or anything.
The Scopus, the site you showed is for identifying high impact journals. So let's say I see a high impact journal that I want to publish on, then I want to see sample papers that they publish. How do I get around?
The best way is start searching on the the IEEE Explore,
Okay.
the Web of Science, and some the Scopus search, or there are some search engines. So let me give you the list quickly. Just one student asked me day before. I just give you quickly the list. Sorry, one more minute then. Is it okay? So IEEE Explore, right? ACM Digital Library. You can search Springer. You can search Science Direct. Online library for Village. Let me copy this and paste on this Teams chat.
What about science? I prefer the Springer science there.
Okay, so let me put it here in this chat.
Okay,
You can
Dr.
try.
Hassan is doing this. Let me add on few things. I think one thing Dr. Hassan pointed out quite clearly is you can have your research network. If you support any journal publication, as long as Q1, Q2, Q3, even you are author. Right? I have signed off papers that you are the third author or fourth author is fine.